Thank you all so very much for joining us again. Today we're going to be talking about Eyes Without Pity. Oh yeah, you want to start us off with the title?
Yes, Eyes Without Pity. That's how I felt whenever we were watching what's that show? Never mind, we'll leave that alone.
Yeah,
I always find a way to
I was slow on that one.
Right. We're not here to talk about that. So Eyes Without Pity. In this episode, we see a Gwen is now help me with the term, a Damane. But she is receiving no pity from her Saldum. She's going through the absolute worst thing she's ever experienced in her life, and she is getting no pity from it. But as we get into this episode, we'll see why I love Gwen so much, even with that, even without the pity. I'm loving her.
All right, well, let's talk about this particular episode. Let's talk about it in like grand strokes. What was the theme of this particular episode?
Broad strokes.
Raw, uncut, pure, unadulterated debauchery.
Oh my God. Yes.
Yeah, all those things.
All those things. What was the theme of this particular episode? I'll start off. I'll give you all some time to think about it. In my opinion, this particular episode was all about trust. This particular episode was all about trust. And it was really about characters learning to trust other characters. And you had certain people like Nynaeve. She's an untrusting person, right? But she had to put her trust in other people. You also saw Moraine. Moraine had to give in just a little bit, right? You have a lot of characters who basically had to let go of themselves, look outside of themselves, and say, okay, this is a moment where I have to trust you. And so I just believe that this particular episode was about trust. Your thoughts? Let's start with Elliot first.
I'm going to say perseverance. Although ultimately it did not go the way I would have personally wanted it to go, what I saw was perseverance, because different characters throughout this episode were experiencing all kinds of hardships, I'll use that word, but they found a way to just continue to go through. Particularly Gwen, my God, oh my God, I am going to get a t-shirt with her face on it. Like, my goodness, just the poster child for perseverance. Absolutely. So for me, the episode, one of the overarching themes was perseverance.
Core?
I will also say that one of the overarching themes for me was really just, I agree, it's perseverance, but it's also just kind of keeping yourself, because she has to be able to get out of the situation. She has to survive it if she's going to survive at all, right? So, and it's about being broken and what's going to happen after someone is broken, right? You see that in her situation, but also with the other Aes Sedai towards the end of the episode, how she was just broken. But what's going to be next? How are they going to overcome that brokenness? Because she's another character that I just love, and it was just heartbreaking to see, right? But we haven't talked about that yet.
Can we get into that for a minute? I like how you said broken. Like, Gwen didn't act like a broken person even after she was broken though. Like, right. I was just so impressed. Like, yes. Wow.
Because that had been me.
I'd have gave up 10 miles back.
Right.
I'm thirsty.
I'm thirsty.
You can give me a bottle of Merlot and you can go ahead and channel through me whatever you need to do. Okay.
Right. And just hope and pray that somebody comes along, because I guess the reality of the situation, she understood it, but she had so much fight and so much spirit that she did not accept it, and she thought that somehow she was going to be able to change it. But really and truly, there's nothing that she can do in this moment but accept it for the time being, and then when the opportunity arises, hopefully by that time she's not fully diminished, right, to where she doesn't care, then maybe we could see something else from her queen. But this is a good episode. There's a lot,
and that speaks to the theme of perseverance for her. But like Jermaine mentioned, the other characters too, well, he didn't use perseverance as his, but we can bring that into them as well, because they have been dealt quite a hand of cards and they're still pushing through. Moraine still doesn't have powers, but she's moving, making all kind of things happen without powers. You have I think it's Nynaeve, who's been, well, at this point she thinks captured, and come to find out it's one of the old Aes Sedai that are helping them out. So they're working through some things. So I saw a lot of perseverance in this episode from several different characters.
Okay. So you mentioned in Aes Sedai was helping Nynaeve. And I guess my question was, especially for the two of you who have not read the book, you're simply watching the TV show. How did this particular episode help build all of the worlds that exist within the Wheel of Time?
I think it started to kind of sort of put the pieces together because I haven't read the books and they talk about so many different lengths, different people, cultures, places that they haven't really talked about throughout the entirety of the show. And they're starting to connect all these things, like the dream world and the Aes Sedai's home, the tower, and this new place. So they're starting to connect all these different places together, and it's starting to kind of make a little bit of sense. And you're starting to see the interaction between the three, or all four, or however many there is. So if anything, this episode did that for me.
Oh yeah.
And so for me, it's deeper than the surface. Like, it's just when you feel like, okay, I'm kind of understanding. Like, well, wait a minute, a whole bunch of other things have come into play, and then you picture the Aes Sedai, like you mentioned, being inhabitants of this tower or whatever, but okay, we're out here, like we're everywhere. So it's just like a sister is in trouble, and just when you think that things are going completely left, here we are, the Aes Sedai, we out here, even though we're structured as what we can do with our powers, allegedly. I'll say that because as we see Leandrin, we can break the laws or oaths when we want to, should we so choose. But for me, it's just like, okay, it's deeper than what I'm thinking. And it was nice to see, I'm going to take it there, an Aes Sedai that looked like me.
Oh, yeah. So I'm kind of glad that you mentioned that because we were able to see some of the cities, which are really, for all intents and purposes, kingdoms. So for instance, they've been talking about Carian for quite some time. Also Andor, believe it or not, Moraine. So we know that Moraine is a noblewoman, but Andor is where her family gets their power, right? And so that whole mixture and these are places that have been talked about since episode 1, right? We're now getting to see all of these different places, and we're getting to see the personalities of all of these different places and how they connect to the larger story. Because what we know is that the Dragon Reborn has got to be in a lot of these different places in order to fulfill certain prophecies, and we're seeing all of these different places play out for us. And for me, as someone who read the book, and when you read books, you kind of visualize what these places are like. A lot of these places hold true to what was described in the book.
Can we briefly just speak on the Ogier?
Sure.
And the massive display of disrespect that again brings me back to, I'm trying not to say it, but how they pretty much put him on display for their entertainment, for their amusement, which is still another underlying theme for me. When I saw that, I was like, first of all, oh my God, he sounds amazing, even though he gets on my nerves because he does not just know how to say hey and shut up. But the way in which they exploited his talents to me was so reminiscent, of slavery and the things in which they did to just be amused, and everybody's laughing and he's just singing his heart out and he sounds amazing, but they just completely exploited him.
Did you catch that moment though, when that woman, whoever she was, I don't even know who she was, but she kind of scanned the room and she realized that all eyes were on him, and the way in which they were looking at him was like, oh my God, this is a God in our presence, and she had to shut it down real quick. Did you see that?
Oh yes.
Both of you all on well.
Yes.
I was just talking, and
it was no longer fun then. As long as I can.
It wasn't cute then. He was a
right
threat at that particular point.
Right. As long as I can berate you and castrate you, then it's cool. But the minute I was like, wow, no, this is not okay. Let's shut this down. But yeah, I just wanted to speak to that for a second because that was one of the things in this episode that stood out for me. Like, you dirty bastards. Like, really?
Also a gentle giant, and I keep waiting for that point when he's had enough, and I'm curious about what's going to happen at that point, right? Whenever he's had enough, and I'm really curious to see how that unfolds.
I mean, I would have been okay with them putting a muzzle on him, honestly, because he talks too much. But other than that, he's absolutely a gentle giant with a wealth of useless facts. But I do like his character. I wouldn't invite him to Thanksgiving either.
No, I don't. Well, I mean, yeah, maybe I would, because he know a lot about everything that's going on. The history of the herbs that I'm using in my.
No, because he'll be that uncle that pray for an hour and a half, and it'll be tomorrow before you eat it. It's no longer Thanksgiving. No, you are not invited to Thanksgiving. Maybe I invite you to Groundhog's Day, but not Thanksgiving. No.
What are some of your predictions for the show based on this particular episode?
I think there's going to be a reckoning. I think the characters that are right now, they're going along with their predicaments. I think they are going to, at some point in time, realize that they're stronger than pretty much everybody that's in the room.
When you say they are stronger, who's they?
Meaning Doji, or the other guy that's with him that doesn't have any powers, but he's a soldier. Of course the three women that are in a predicament with because of Lilandria. And then I'm thinking about just even moving forward. Rand will no longer be, at that point when Rand is no longer a tool or a ploy, I'm also waiting for him to kind of stand up to everyone, Maureen included, as well as Celine. So I'm curious to see when these things start happening, how that's going to change the story, right? And when will they stop being a victim of the circumstances they're in and start taking some of the power that they have and using it to inflict, not necessarily punishment, but you know what I'm saying, on those people that have put them in these positions.
Hell yeah.
So I predict that Leandrian is going to have her reckoning. I think Moraine is just going to get her powers back and just be worse than she was before. And when I say worse, I mean worse in a better way. I feel like that's going to happen. I feel like the Ogier may have a larger role than he does at this moment. I don't know. I'm absolutely certain. I'm thinking that what's his name? Wolfpack. I'm gonna call him that. That Perrin, the platypus, whatever. I feel like instead of giving mid-penis energy, he's gonna step that up because I'm really, really expecting that. Matt, we didn't talk about him at all. I feel like Matt is just like right now he's just kind of like on meth or something. I don't know, but
Matt
I feel
does
like
meth energy, doesn't he?
He does. He gives big myth energy. I feel like they're gonna develop his character a little more. We're gonna figure out, okay, outside of the dagger, what he's really here for.
But think about it though. But there's a reason why we say that. Like his infatuation with the dagger and his connection to it and the hold that it has on it, it really gives meth energy.
It just keeps calling his name. You're a drug addict. He's a junkie. He gives me junkie energy.
It just keep calling me, man. It just keep calling me, man. It's calling me.
So there's that. And I feel like we're gonna see a lot more of Lanfear. I don't know if I'm saying it correctly, but I feel like we're gonna see a lot more of her and her chaos and just exactly why she is a part of this show. So I'm gonna just end it right there because we know she's one of the dark ones or the dark one or whatever. But we've seen some of what she can do. I feel like it can be worse. So.
But I'm also curious: is there a ploy in there? Like I haven't read the book, so this is just me speculating based on shows that we've all watched. Like sometimes there's that bad guy that kind of turns a little bit. Is she that character that's going to go against everything because she does eventually fall in love with Rain? Like, well, how is that going to play into it? Like, she already has feelings for.
Well, because she was in love with the first,
right.
First one.
So how is that going to translate into how we move forward? Like, is there?
Is this going to be a love conquers all type thing?
Right.
You're going to turn to the light because your babe chose the light. I don't know.
Or she's going to sacrifice herself because she preferred him to I don't know. I just kind of feel that there's going to be some sort of twist like that with their story. Perrin, I think, is going to get his own pack and become a leader in his own right. And he's going to have his own quote unquote armies to kind of control, and it's going to be a big asset in the show as we look forward.
He needs to step and get his big asset up because right now is.
And I think there's more in store in terms of that whole. I'm not gonna pronounce her name right, but when we spoke of her in the last episode, Vivian, whatever her name is, between her and Lilandria, I think there's gonna be more that's gonna play. These names, y'all, I can't.
Wait, who are these characters? And what show are they in?
It's the show in my head, baby. It's the show in my head.
You done named the Fresh Prince and none of these people in this show.
Vivian, baby, Vivian. You know Vivian. Just let y'all know that she's gonna be Vivian.
I'll be butchering the names.
Because that sticks out. Because her name right now don't stick out for me.
Varen and Leandrin.
Varen. What I keep calling Lilandra?
Lilandra.
That'd be so serious too, y'all.
You know what I'm talking about. You let your country roots show, Corey. You let your country roots show. Come here, you know what I'm talking
Ain't no
about.
shame to it. Ain't no shame to it. Everybody got an accent. Look, everyone has a prediction. So what I want, so I'm gonna give my predictions. Some of it is based on what I do know. Some of it is just, because clearly this TV show does not hold true 100% to the books, right? So some of it is what I do know, and others is just wild speculation. But if you have predictions, drop them in the comments. So as it relates to Moraine, yes, oh yeah, you got it, 100%. She is going to get her powers back, and she's going to be more powerful. She's going to be more powerful. In terms of Perrin, Corey, you were 100%. Perrin is not only going to have like his pack of wolves behind him, but he's going to lead groups of people into battle. Matt, even though, okay, so the show has him, I agree with you. Based on the show, they have him looking like he's strung out on meth all the time. Yep. According to the books, however, he is going to be a general. He is going to be a general, also leading people into battle. Okay, he's gonna be very important in this particular in the series, which was odd. Like a lot of people were like, "Whoa, you got Matt out here like acting like this. How are you gonna reconcile what's in the book and he's like this?" Unless they want Matt to have like a true journey, right? It's possible that they want him to have a true journey. So okay, I can see that.
Loves a redemption story.
Yeah. I can say Lan did not Lan was always just there, right? Lan was always just there. We're seeing more from Lan in the TV show than we ever read in the book. Okay, so we're getting a lot from him, and the only thing that I can assume is that as an actor, he's probably a great actor on the set, and they want more from him. Because what I do see is, even though Rand still has a father, or had a father, he meaning Lan, has become a father figure to Rand, and so I see that. I like that. Egwene,
my girl.
She's gonna be a boss.
Yeah, she's gonna be a boss. She's gonna be a
Baby
boss
from
chick.
average.
Yeah, boss chick, and I don't want to spoil it for too many people. Even though I did mention it on a previous episode. We all know that Nynaeve is going to become the most powerful Aes Sedai there is. She will be the most powerful Aes Sedai. Who are some other characters?
We mentioned the Ogier.
So in terms of the Ogier, his role is always going to be important, especially when it comes to the Waygate. He knows more about the Waygates than anybody else. But I don't know if they're going to use him on the show in that way. I'm only on book 3. I'm almost done with book 3. But up until this point, he's there. He's always there. But in terms of significance, I can't see it just yet.
What about Leandrian?
Leandrian, she will have a role. She will continue to have a role. We should not have seen her in season 1 at all.
Wait, the Amarillion seat.
The Amarillion seat?
There we go. Swan.
So
I keep adding extra syllables.
She's gonna die.
Well, I don't know if let me not say she's going to die. I don't know that as fact, in terms of what I've read. But I know that she's not going to be the Amarillion seat forever. So then the question is,
more of her. Hadn't seen her since The Secret Life of Bees.
Akiva?
No, The Secret Life of Bees, the movie with Queen Latifah. That's why Corey laughed.
Exactly like there. That's her. She was
I don't remember.
You don't know the movie? Dakota Fanning. Was that Dakota Fanning?
Dakota Fanning was in it. Queen Latifah. She was
Jennifer Hudson.
Jennifer Hudson was in it.
Mm-hmm.
A couple other people.
Oh. Okay. All right.
It's old.
All right.
It's old.
It's old. And she was in it?
Yeah.
She looked the same?
She was a little special.
Exactly.
Yeah.
She was
She was a little special. What that mean?
She was touched.
She was developed
in the show.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Well, that means she's a good actress, or actor. I happen to think she's a good actor.
I like her. I think she's doing a great job, especially in this role.
I would like to see her use her powers more, like, because when she thought she was in danger, baby, that she turned it on like that, and I was curious, right? So I was curious to see what all she could do.
They did put more into this soft lesbian porn with her and Moraine than they did into her powers.
They did.
They did.
And how did you feel about that?
I felt cheated.
Which part? The powers or the lesbian?
Both. Cheated.
Because you kind of want more for her than just Moraine, because
Right.
So you all like characters who can stand on their own. Yes, they have a relationship with some other character, but you want them to stand on their own.
Yes, like a Gwen.
like in this type of show, yes. But there are some exceptions, because of the dangers that the show is introducing. I know it just kind of feels like that's where it should be. And I kind of think about shows that are like these journey type shows like Lord of the Rings and things like that. At the end, they all eventually do have to stand on their own, because they all have their own separate journey, and it's going to pull them away from the group, so to speak, and they're all going to lead and be and do and stuff like that, and they're going to contribute in their own way. So I do, yes, I guess in this instance, yes, I do.
Okay. All right. Got it. Anything else that you all want to talk about in terms of this particular episode?
I think if I say any more, you're going to block me.
No, not at all.
I almost took you out last episode.
Look, I'm not sweating no more. Corey?
I am curious to see. We only have one more episode left in the show. I wish this show did 10 episode seasons. 8 does not feel enough.
So you don't think 8 is enough, huh?
8 is not enough. I want the full experience of those extra 2 episodes.
You need those extra 2 inches, huh?
You know what?
Corey, I'm so mad. You never catch it, Corey. You never
I
catch
knew
it.
exactly what she was saying. I just kind of like, it is what it is. Our show always has that little bit of spice.
I'm gonna stop. I don't want to be typecast. I'm gonna stop.
No, you ain't typecast. I think we all do it at some point. Literally and figuratively. All right. Well, I think that's it for today. Thank you all so very much for joining us. Don't forget to kiss on the subscribe button, click on the like button, share us on all your social media, nibble on the notification button, and make love to our senses in the comments. See y'all. Have a great one.